Today's video is dedicated to the Polkadot Eco prices. We'll take a look at the different charts for Kusama, Centrifuge, Dot, and also Karura, because these are the ones to keep an eye out for today, for this weekend, to be honest. Of course, there are a lot more projects out there, but these are the ones that I'm personally interested in and that I'm sharing with you right now. So let's get straight in and talk about the different charts. Well, we've got Kusama here. You could see Kusama is doing quite okay, trading at just under $270 here. It had a nice pop over the last few days now, since the last time I've covered it. As you can see here, of course, this run has been doing pretty great. We're still on the uptrend here, but you have to remember that we're at the resistance area here, so we will struggle to break past this resistance. But once we do, then we will be looking at the $370 range here, which is the next resistance. Anything between $350 to $370. I would give it about a $20 gap here, because we're not really sure which one is the resistance here in this area. It could either be this area here, or it could be a little bit higher up, which are these other ones here that are a little bit longer. As you can see here, they were actually running for a longer period of time, or as opposed to this one. So yes, we could say maybe around the 370 could be the resistance line. So that would be $100 from now. So I don't really see that happening in the next few days. Probably in about a week, maybe before the end of next week, we may potentially see, if we continue this uptrend and we don't get rejected or we don't see some major pullback, then we will get to 370. It's just a matter of time at the end of the day, because this uptrend could just continue like that, and it'll just slowly pop up until we get to 370, where it will struggle a bit, because that is quite some resistance. Next, let's talk about Centrifuge. Centrifuge has had a parabolic run today, and I didn't understand why, because I have covered the news yesterday, and even then, like, I basically woke up to the surprise. Like, when I woke up, it was like 125 or something like that. Where was it? This one here. It was this one here that I saw this morning, which was around 125, and then as you can see, we had a pullback all the way down to 116. We actually touched a moving average. If you look here, this is quite interesting, because on KuCoin, you could see this green line here. This is the 5-day moving average, and we actually followed the 5-day moving average on KuCoin, which is interesting. On the 4-hour chart, we touched exactly that on the tip, right on the tip, on the pullback. And that was actually quite solid support, because I was actually watching that live when it pulled back to 116, and when it did that, it actually had a large wall there of 27,000 Centrifuge, and somebody in my community checked it and checked on OKX, which is another exchange or not OKX, sorry, on Gate, which is another exchange that Centrifuge is trading on. And apparently there was also a 20k plus CFG buy wall around the same price, around 116. So it seems like bots were trying to hold this area here because of the moving average, I suppose. But that buy wall actually got eaten, almost eaten in full. I think there was like 4k or something left out of the 27k, and then it just took off from their parabolic run.
BitSwap is the hottest new way to trade tokens. Crawling all the top decentralized exchanges, BitSwap will get you the very best price and value for your trades. BitSwap is changing the game. Try it now at bitswapdex.com.
And as you can see here, this is on the 4-hour chart. So in the next 4 hours after that dump, we had a continuous run here, which was amazing. And with some small pullbacks, we had one to 138 here. Then we had the pullback, like I said. Then we had another pop to 138. Once again, we tried it. We didn't break it. We pulled back, but we pulled back on this moving average so nicely. This is the 10-day moving average, the brown line here. So as you can see, it's following the moving averages so nicely here. And this is why I love uptrends, because uptrends are so predictable. Like, you've got these moving averages, and if you see the trend following the moving average, then you know we're still in that nice uptrend, and we could potentially see higher prices until we get rejected. Of course, once we get rejected below the line, then it's pretty much game over. Not in all cases, sometimes we could make a comeback, but in most cases the probability is higher that we're going to change the trend and we move to the downside. So for now, we're still in that bullish trend. We may get another pullback soon, probably to this area here of 143. As you can see, starting to pull back a bit, because we had this nice run to almost 160, 159 to be exact. This is the 24-hour high. And then it's going to push back up, I think, one more time, unless unless this is forming some sort of head and shoulder movement. If that is the case, this would be the left shoulder, this would be the head, then we will be forming the right shoulder once we pull back enough, likely to the purple line if that is the case, which would be around 130, and then form the right shoulder and then move down if that is the case, right? But if not, if we're still going to continue on this uptrend to make an even higher up movement, then we could potentially see even $2, right? It's not out of the blue, it's not out of the question, but remember that we don't have any resistance for Centrifuge. So the fact that we've got no resistance means that we could just go as high as we want, right? But it kind of gives me Polkadot vibes where, okay, we do have all this bullish news, people are talking about Centrifuge now, but with Polkadot we had the same, and then we had that humongous pullback from $40, which really hurt, all the way down to like $20. So that was a 50% drop. So it was not to say this will not happen with Centrifuge too. Of course it could happen. It depends who's controlling this price, if it's just people FOMOing in because of the news, or if it's whales manipulating on the news to try to get people to FOMO in, right? Because you just should never take anything for granted anymore. Whales are playing with coins now and again. So okay. Oh yeah, and one other thing, Chico Crypto actually mentioned Centrifuge in a live stream, and I know that Chico Crypto and other large content creators, they normally have whales watching them, they normally have pump and dump groups watching them, so they could also play a role in this, right? Just the fact that they're talking about a project and then the whales and the pump and dump groups tend to pump them because they believe that the community is going to follow in, so they tend to pump before the community, get the FOMO going, and then the community starts buying to not miss the boat, and then they start dumping, right? This is usually what happens. Now DOT as well. So DOT is again following the same trend as Kusama. As you can see here, we're still on the uptrend with DOT, which is great. It's following the moving average so nicely here. As you can see, we're going a little bit below it, but then we're going back up, right? Going a little bit below it, going back up. So now it looks like we may be going a little bit below it once again, probably retesting the $21.60 range. So basically a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. As you can see, this is the higher low from this one. This is the higher low, this is the higher high. This is the higher low, this is the higher high. This is the higher low, this is the higher high, right? So this is how it's following it here. So yeah, with Polkadot, like I was saying, we could expect around $27. This is the last area of resistance here that we've had, where we tried to break it and we couldn't here. As you can see, we pulled back up. So I think we're going to get to that once again, and we're either going to break past it or we're going to pull back from $27. So we definitely have a lot more room to go. And in the most bearish possible scenario ever, we could get to $17, which I don't really see that happening. But that is the bearish scenario, right? If that could be the case. Next, let's look at Karura. So Karura is also doing really well here, as you can see, on a parabolic run here, which is amazing. The offloading is done for Karura here. When we had that market pullback, you could see it went as low as 670 here after the parabolic run to 860, and it did a higher high when it went to over $9. Actually went to 964. That was the high of the day, and this is the all-time high for Karura. I don't think there's anything higher than 964 for Karura. It put in an all-time high yesterday, or today, I think it was. This is the 4-hour chart, so it's, yeah, 964 at what time? 12 o'clock. Okay, so it's at 12 o'clock today that it put in the new all-time high. 12 o'clock my time, right? Central Eastern European time, so it depends on your time zone. So yeah, Karura is doing very well. I am expecting Karura to likely go above $10, right? Because of the low supply, of course. I know that some people were complaining that there's more circulating supply, but that's because the backers got their unlock. Some of the unlocks, right? Not the full unlock, because they do have the 5 months vesting period as well. So they're gonna get slowly. They're getting their tokens released to them. So of course there was a little bit of a dump there with that first unlock, but it looks like it's doing well. When the market's doing well, it doesn't matter, right? And one other project I didn't actually talk about is Darwinian Network. I didn't actually look at the graph for that, but I know that that's been doing extremely well as well without any news. Surprisingly, I know that pumped 2x. Also, Katon pumped 2x. Also, C-Ring pumped 2x as well, which is Crab Network's native token. So yeah, I mean, everything's doing well once again. It looks like we're getting into that bullish scenario. where the market is just gonna continue to pump, right? So we'll have to see how things are going. I really like the fact that every single weekend now, at least for the last 3 weekends, we've only gotten green, which is awesome to see, because normally weekends are getting quite bloody, especially Sundays. So we'll have to see how tomorrow is going to be. I do expect the prices to continue to be bullish, to be honest, even if we get a bit of a pullback going into next week. So we'll have to see. There's absolutely no sign of a trend reversal whatsoever across all these altcoins that I'm checking, right? So we are looking good for now, and I'm not concerned. Thank you very much for watching today's video, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.